Former British Royal Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on Thursday by the Thames Valley Police after explosive revelations in the Epstein files released by the U.S. Justice Department. According to an Associated Press report, Andrew was held on suspicion of misconduct in public office and he is currently in custody. Thames Valley Police said Andrew was arrested after a thorough assessment and an investigation has now been opened. The Thames Valley Police said, and I quote, "Following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. It is important that we protect the integrity and objectivity of our investigation as we work with our partners to investigate this alleged offense." The British royal family has been rocked by the revelations after the U.S. Justice Department released more than 3 million documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ documents brought new attention to Mountbatten Windsor as dozens of email exchanges between Epstein and the former prince rocked the country. Correspondence unearthed in recent days claimed that Mountbatten Windsor sent Epstein copies of his reports from a 2010 tour of Southeast Asia, which he undertook as Britain's envoy for international trade. An earlier email claimed Andrew shared his itinerary for the 2-week trip to Hanoi, Saigon, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and Hong Kong with Epstein. King Charles III had said he was ready to support the UK police in examining allegations against Andrew.
After losing royal title, will King Charles III's brother and former Prince Andrew be arrested over his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein? The Buckingham Palace has said that King Charles III is ready to support the UK police examining claims that former Prince Andrew shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, it is a very significant statement, and I think it had to be the case that something had to be said. We saw Charles being heckled last week saying, "What about Epstein?" And William and Kate did come out earlier today talking about how they were concerned about the victims. The simple fact was that something had to be said, because increasingly people were saying, yes, Andrew did all these bad things he's being accused of, but also were there cover-ups in the palace? Did people know? And who knew when and what? Buckingham Palace is saying here it's what Andrew did. It's about him to answer the questions, but I think they're making it very clear that we're not going to protect him anymore. There's no more protections. Virginia Giuffre, she said in her memoir, Nobody's Girl, she said that she was given an NDA not to speak about the allegations of what she suffered at Andrew's hands over 2020-22, which was the Queen's Jubilee year. So it looks like the royal family is saying no more NDAs, no more cover-ups. Andrew is going to answer these. And if we're asked to supply anything, and that could be anything from logs as to who came where, when, or police logs, or household logs, or emails, then it suggests that they will supply them.
The Buckingham Palace's statement is the latest effort by the royal family to distance it from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor after the U.S. Justice Department's release of more than 3 million pages of documents revealed shocking details about the ex-prince's ties with Epstein. The late Queen Elizabeth II had forced Andrew to give up his royal duties and end his charitable work in 2019 after he tried to explain away his friendship with Epstein during an interview with BBC. After more details emerged in a book last year, King Charles III stripped Andrew of the right to be called a prince and ordered him to move out of a royal residence close to the Windsor Castle. Prince William and Princess Kate expressed concern for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein in a statement released Monday. Britain's most popular royals say that they were appalled by the contents of more than 3 million pages of documents released earlier this month by the U.S. Department of Justice. The Justice Department documents have revealed dozens of email exchanges between Epstein and the former prince, many of which took place after the financier was convicted of soliciting a minor for prostitution in 2008, the Associated Press reported. Correspondents unearthed claim that Mountbatten Windsor sent Epstein copies of his reports from a 2010 tour of Southeast Asia, which he undertook as Britain's envoy for international trade. An earlier email appears to show Andrew sharing his itinerary for the 2-week trip to Hanoi, Saigon, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and Hong Kong with Epstein.
The name Jeffrey Epstein refuses to fade. Newly released documents from the United States Department of Justice reveal a series of emails that appear to show Jeffrey Epstein inviting the Duke, a man believed to be Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, to meet a young Russian woman in London. The emails date back to August 2010. That is just 1 month after Epstein completed his jail sentence for soliciting a minor, and 2 years after his conviction. The messages are signed simply A, with a signature that appears to read HRH Duke of York KG. According to the emails, Epstein suggests that the Duke might enjoy having dinner with a 26-year-old Russian woman who would be in London that month. The response from the Duke is polite and interested. He writes that he will be in Geneva until the morning of the 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. He then asks, will she be bringing a message from you? And adds, is there any other information you might know about her that might be useful to know? Epstein replies with a brief description. She is 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email. The emails do not allege or demonstrate any criminal wrongdoing, but they raise fresh questions. A second exchange from September 2010 adds further intrigue. Epstein writes that he is in London, asking what time he and another individual should meet, noting they would also need private time. The Duke responds that he is leaving Scotland and could arrive by evening. Then comes a striking suggestion. Alternatively, we could have dinner at Buckingham Palace and lots of privacy. Epstein replies simply, BP, please. The emails offer no indication of what, if anything, ultimately took place. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has repeatedly denied all wrongdoing. He has said he did not see, witness, or suspect any behavior by Epstein that later led to his arrest and conviction. He has also denied allegations made by Virginia Giuffre, who claimed she was trafficked by Epstein and sexually assaulted as a teenager. Mountbatten Windsor settled a civil claim with Giuffre in 2022, while maintaining he never met her. Meanwhile, newly released photos in the Epstein files appear to show Prince Andrew on all fours over a woman lying on the ground. The newly released emails are part of a vast disclosure of more than 3 million documents, including thousands of videos and hundreds of thousands of images made public by the U.S. Justice Department. Many of the files remain heavily redacted, some are entirely blacked out. The release comes after a deadline mandated by U.S. law, signed by President Donald Trump. Years after Epstein's death, his correspondence is still emerging, not as accusations, not as verdicts, but as fragments of access, proximity, and privilege. And once again, the Epstein files force uncomfortable questions into the open about who had the door opened for them and who was willing to walk through it.
I'm here today to talk about the department's compliance with its production obligations under the Act. Around, I think right now, and continuing throughout the day-to-day, as the indexing and uploading completes, we are producing responsive materials under the Act. We are also releasing today a letter we are transmitting to Congress and various internal protocols associated with our review. The department's collection effort resulted in more than 6 million pages being identified as potentially responsive, including department and FBI emails, interview summaries, images, videos, and various other materials collected and generated during the various investigations and prosecutions that the Act covered. The categories of documents withheld include those permitted under the Act to be withheld, files that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the American people and compliance with the Act. The Department has engaged in an unprecedented and extensive effort to do so. After submitting the final report to Congress as required under the Act and publishing the written justifications for redactions in the Federal Register, the Department's obligations under the Act will be completed. I mean, yes, I can assure that we complied with the statute, we complied with the Act, and there is no, we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents. And there's nothing I can do about that.
Do you have a reaction to the arrest of Don Lemon overnight?
Do you have a reaction to what?
To Don Lemon's arrest overnight?
Do I have a reaction to it? I don't know what that means. What are you looking for me to do? Jump up and down? No, I don't have a reaction to it. I don't know that the charges are unsealed yet. So no, I can't. I'm not going to comment on that.